The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to countries closing their borders and instituting lockdowns, has left many citizens stranded across the globe. A total of 3,639 South Africans have indicated they are stranded abroad and require assistance to return home to South Africa. Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor, says discussions were held with South African Airways to use the return legs to bring back stranded South Africans across the globe. To date, over 600 South Africans have returned home and are under quarantine in various sites. Here's Minister Naledi Pandor with an update on the process currently underway.
DIRCO has a responsibility to provide assistance to South Africans who are in distress outside our borders. It is our responsibility, and so we have not, neglected the individuals that have approached us to say, please help, because when we instituted the lockdown, some South Africans were already at an airport waiting to board a plane to come home. Our regulations stopped even flights. And so countries immediately cancelled flights on being aware of South Africa's regulations. And many of our citizens then remained stranded in the countries in which they found themselves. We've, through our national joints, our NAT joints, which is the structure that considers all matters related to an emergency or national crisis of this caliber, they then had to develop the means to advise us as to how we respond to the plight of South Africans stranded abroad. I must say, one of the things I discovered is South Africans are very cosmopolitan. They're all over the world. I got messages from the most interior parts of Peru, persons hiking in those areas, others carrying out research work. So we have South Africans all over the world. And we've made attempts, with the support, happily, of South African Airways, some private sector companies. We have begun to repatriate South Africans who are in distress from abroad. And I really stress in distress. There are South Africans who normally live outside South Africa. Some of them want to come home on holiday because they're worried about what's happening with respect to COVID-19. So they want to come and check on their family. But it's not a holiday excursion that we are providing. These are emergency measures that we are taking to assist persons ordinarily resident in South Africa, but who are in distress and stranded in another country. So they're at an airport, they no longer have hotel accommodation, their funds for the holiday ran out, they're not getting a meal, etc. Our embassies have been absolutely superb in trying to provide assistance. We don't have large staff in our missions across the world, and so they're not always able to give 24-hour support, but all of them have rolled up their sleeves, come forward, and provided help. Well, the defining meaning for us is in distress, stranded in distress. So I think once our lockdown has ended, and gradually other countries are also ending their lockdowns, then we would have returned to a situation where airlines begin to fly. A lot of the people who currently say they're stranded have airline tickets. In fact, a number have used those airline tickets as the means of getting onto the flights that have either been chartered or commissioned through South African Airways or other airlines. So I believe that once countries begin to open up the air and allow for flights, any remaining persons will then be able to travel and return home as they wish.